Hi guys, I'm Cassie from the Bubble Brains. Today I'm going to be doing my worst date ever video. Sky's going to do her video separately later. So yeah, let's get started, I guess. I'm not going to name anyone's names or anything like that just because I don't particularly want to hear about it later. I think the worst date would have to be I met this guy online. We talked for a little bit beforehand, and he seemed pretty cool, so we decided that we were going to hang out. I was completely under the impression that we were hanging out, and that it was just sort of like something to like meet each other to see like if we got along, and then we'd think about like going on a date later, kind of thing. So he told me he didn't have a cell phone, which this day and age I have no idea why he didn't have a cell phone, because everyone does. So the only way I could connect with him was through email, and so basically I couldn't contact him at all if I was away from home. So I ended up, we set a date. We were going to meet at McDonald's, and we were going to have lunch and then go shopping because I needed to buy some stuff for school. But I went there at the time that I said it, that we were supposed to go, and I probably waited there for about 2.5 hours before I heard anything. And at this point I was getting really, really mad because I wasted all my time and my money to go over to a different city, pretty much, to meet this guy, and he didn't show up. So I was really mad, and I was about to leave the store and go back home when my mom texted me, and she said that I had left my email open, and he emailed me and told me that I ditched him and that he was there but I didn't see him, which to me was kind of like, okay, when did that happen? Like, I've been here forever. And so I had my mom email him, which was extremely embarrassing, and ask him to come back because apparently he had went there and then went home. And then after my mom arguing with this guy for 20 minutes, she's like, okay, well, he's on his way, he'll be there in 10 minutes, kind of thing. I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I'll just sit here and look like an idiot like I am for the last couple hours. So I was sitting there, and then this guy comes in, and the first thing that came to my mind is, oh my god, please let this not be the guy, because he was not at all what I expected. And he's sitting there, and he's literally fidgeting and shifting himself all over the place, and he would not stop moving. And then he kept glancing over at me, and I was like, oh god, that's him, I know it's him, oh my god. And it was kind of awkward because I don't think he actually remembered what I looked like, and I was so mad at the time that I didn't really remember what he looked like either. But he ended up coming over and asking me what the time was, and I was like, oh yeah, it's this and this and this. And then I was like, is your name blah blah blah? And he's like, yeah, are you Cassie? I was like, yeah, that's me. So we sat down, and I think what he was doing was considered flirting. To him, it might be flirting, but I don't know. To me, it was a nervous twitch. But he was sitting there talking and just rambling on about all this stuff that I really don't care about. And he was the whole time he was that doesn't look hot to me. That's not appealing. So we were sitting there talking, and I was starting to get very bored because I had already eaten at this point, and so did he. So I was like, okay, well, I have a bit more shopping to do. You might as well come with me. So we were walking around shopping, and I was asking him opinions on different shirts and stuff like that, and he just kind of stood there and was talking about random things like World of Warcraft and games like that and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm sitting here talking about shirts and you find a way to connect them to video games. Okay. So then we decided to go for a walk around this little park center thing. It had like a fountain in the middle of it. I think it was really cute. But oh my gosh, it was so terrible. Like, we just randomly walked around, and then he's like, I'm tired. I was like, okay. So he's like, let's sit down. I was like, okay. So we sat down, and we were sitting there talking away, and all of a sudden this bug comes, like this little, you know those little wasps, the little ones that are like that big. They're not even intimidating at all. And he like jumps 5 feet, and it's like that close to him, and he jumps 5 feet, and he starts going on about how he's allergic to wasps, and he has like some sort of EpiPen, but he didn't bring it because he didn't want to. And then he was asking me about myself, and I started telling him some things, and then I mentioned Sky, like that I hang out with Sky a lot, and he's like, oh, really? Like, what's she like? I was like, well, she's kind of like me. Apparently we look similar, but I don't think so. And he's like, oh, well, if she's anything like you, she's gorgeous. I was like, oh, thanks, I think. I don't know. So I started to get really bored. So I was like, hey, I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. Do you want to go to like A&W or something and we can get some fries? And he's like, okay, sure. So we went over to A&W. And, oh God, this is where it gets really fucking weird.
Don't forget the part you were texting me halfway through it.
Oh, yes. And keep in mind, I was texting Sky the whole time. I was like, oh my God. This is where it got really weird. We were sitting in A&W eating, and I got my fries, and he didn't want anything, so I was like, okay, whatever. So I was sitting there eating my fries, and he's like, can I have one? And I was like, sure. So I, like, held out the fry box, and he's like, feed it to me. I was like, what? He's like, feed me the french fry. I was like, okay. So I, like, held out a fry, and he, like, took it with his mouth. And then he kind of shimmied over in the booth and laid his head on my shoulder. And he's like, give me another one. I was like, okay. And then, keep in mind, he has like the worst breath on the entire planet. Like, I almost passed out. And he was like, I'm having a lot of fun. I was like, oh yeah? Yeah? And then he's like, so, do I get a kiss? I was like, why would I give you a kiss? I just met you. And he's like, well, we're dating, aren't we? I was like, oh, okay, hold up. Back it up. Back it up there, okay? I asked you to hang out with me, and now you think we're dating? He's like, no, it's a date, isn't it? I was like, I very clearly remember saying hang out, not a date. I said a date would come later. And then he's like, so we're not dating? I was like, no, like, why would you think we're dating? He's like, oh, well, I thought when you ask someone on a date, that means that you're together as boyfriend and girlfriend. I was like, no. I was like, how many dates have you ever been on? He's like, this would be the first. I was like, are you kidding?
And how old is he? Do you want to say how old he is?
He's 18. He's 18, and he's never had a date before. And oh my God, it was just, oh my God. And then after I cleared the fact that we weren't dating, he started asking me about Sky and like trying to get me to hook him up with Sky. And I was sitting there telling Sky about him. I was like, yeah, he's kind of nice. He's really, really clingy, really weird. Because the whole time he was like clinging to my arm. And I was like, oh my God.
Ooh, wait. Side note, I did actually start talking to him, and he was the boringest person ever. Just pointing that one out. And I was so bored, and I just stopped talking to him. I was like, you know what, you're a waste of time. Basically, he was so not entertaining. Like, he ignored me for like 2 days because his parents got him like a new Xbox game or something, like Live Connect or whatever.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, you may be watching this and thinking, oh my god, that doesn't sound that bad. You had to be there to experience how terrible it really was.
She was texting me saying she was so bored and then she wanted to go home so bad, but she didn't want to hurt his feelings.
If you guys haven't noticed, Sky's the cameraman today.
Camera woman.
But it was just so terrible, and basically by the end of it, he's like, he was completely uninterested in me, and he was like talking constantly about Sky, and I was like, hey, this is our date. Why are you talking about some other girl and not me? Like, really, this makes no fucking sense. Like, oh my god. So then we sort of stopped talking after that, and then we were talking online one time, and he was extremely rude. Like, he was saying that, like, I was a whore and all sort of crap, and I don't even remember what he said specifically. I just remembered it was extremely rude, and I got really mad, and I was like, okay, I'm not, but thanks anyway. And then the next thing I know, he's sitting there hitting on Sky and telling Sky she's the most prettiest girl he's ever saw, and that he doesn't like me, he likes her.
Mind you, he was telling her that he didn't like me and he liked her. So he was going around.
He was like, oh my god, Cassie, I love you. And then, like, literally, me and Sky were in the exact same room.
Like 2 meters apart.
Emailing him back
at the same time.
At the same time. And he's like, he'd tell me that he's in love with me, and then he'd turn around and tell Sky that she's the most beautiful woman he's ever saw. I was like, okay, so not only are you terrible on dates, you're clingy, you're unattractive, your breath smells like crap, and you're creepy, but now you're a player? Like, what the hell?
Basically, it was a really awkward situation, and you do not want to be in that type. So.
But, like, oh my god. I was like, yeah, but that was definitely the worst date I've ever been on, and you definitely had to be there to experience how terrible it really was, and I will never go on another date with him again.
Or talk to him.
Oh my god, no.
Okay, well, this finishes up our video. I'm going to be doing a date video probably tomorrow. And yeah, worst date video.
So, along with Sky's video, I will also be uploading another video. I don't know if Sky's going to do it, but I want to do the most embarrassing moments video.
Oh my god, we should do that next right now. Okay, we're ending this. Embarrassing moments coming now.